Okay, we got some action here. It's early May 65. Let's start off in Virginia as we usually do. Now, we didn't have I don't believe we had a battle down here, but he did add more troops, so he's got a pretty good sizable force here, but we're pretty evenly matched. I don't think he's going to have to deal with the river crossing penalty, though, if he attacks me down here. So it doesn't look like he has much back here, but he's got, 3,000 power here with, as you can see, at least 5 divisions. It's got to be more than that, though. Does that have to be 3,000? I guess it does. And then he's got lions across the river here with this. So, and then we got for Jackson, the three divisions, excellent generals, obviously, between Forrest and A.P. Hill, and then John B. Hood. And then we're now we got the full 3 divisions here. Obviously not the best of, Gordon's pretty good, right? 3 defense, 4 attack, 2-2 for Fields, which isn't the best. I had to pull him out of Charleston, if you recall. I was using him for conscript recruiting. And then Evans with 2 defense. So I kind of just threw this together, right? Because that was kind of in response to his landing back here. He is moving down here, so now that's important because if you look at here, I got a supply depot. And I'm kind of looking at the situation here. Raleigh and then Gary's, but this is not a lot of supply for just the absolute size, the sheer size of troops I have here. So it's pretty important that I hold on to the supply depot as long as I can, because this is not going to sustain me for more than half a year. So I put troops here. I don't know what he's moving down with here, though. Looks like just cavalry. But I've got to be careful to make sure I don't lose the supply depot, and if I do, to retake it before he has a chance to destroy it. So I'm going to watch that closely. Another thing I wanted to mention here that I noticed that I forgot to mention in the past that I think is helpful. When you move your troops, right, it does this black line, but this blue line tells you you're moving across waterways, right? That can be helpful if you're, attacking, or you're moving into a region where you're afraid you may run into an enemy force because they might be moving to it as well. So that's always helpful to see that. It's just know, oh, okay, I see blue, so it means I'm going across a river adjacent area. And that slows you down a little bit, but it's more important to know that in terms of possible combat, right? So just be aware of that. It's a quick, helpful way to let you know that. All right, so down here, Charleston, I think so he hasn't retaken Charleston yet again. So that's more cash for us. This is hilarious. This is like the excitement and joy I get every turn is coming down here and saying I still have Charleston. I now have, as I mentioned in the previous episode here, PGT Brewer card with 2 divisions, and that's really just to maintain an exit strategy from Georgia if I have to, which I'm probably going to have to, as I'm about to illustrate. All right, so first, pulling that core out. I pulled him out of Georgia, and I'm sending him up to Virginia. I did that because looking at the size of his force, I just don't think I could, in part, right, because I lost all these divisions over here. I don't think I could withstand going head to head with him over here in Atlanta. He has like so many resources committed over here that I would not be able to go toe to toe with him. So what I've decided to do, in part because I'm not winning over here, I'm about to go over this little battle that happened here in a moment. I'm going to pull out, and I'm going to put a stack in Atlanta, and then have them retreat into the city when he attacks, and just try and withstand a siege for a few months. And if I can do that, then that'll hopefully tie up these forces over here so they can't go over into Virginia. And then if I still hold Richmond at the end of December in 65, I win the game. So what happened here was, and I don't understand this. So Stuart was here to the right of Atlanta, and instead of going into Atlanta, he went over here. I don't know why. It's kind of a bizarre direction to go after a battle. So he's here on the rail line, right? And instead of going backwards to this region back here, and part of it might have been because he put some militia irregular guys back here, I don't know. But it would have made sense to go to Atlanta, right? But he didn't. He went over here. Let's show that battle really quick here. Probably the Dawson's one, the Ebert. Okay, maybe it's a Dawson one. Wait, which one's Dawson? Okay, it's Dawson. So Ebert would have been the first one. No, it wasn't. All right, Dawson. All right. Okay, so he attacked me with about... He didn't attack me with this full army, apparently. 59,000. I only had 21,000, so... Oddly enough... I wonder what happened with that. That's weird. I'm trying to drag this out of the way because I'm trying to see... He was here. Oh, you know what I might have done? That's right. So I was trying to get him out of the theater. I was trying to get him out of Georgia and move him to Virginia. So move 2 full corps to Virginia. And in part because he was landing my rear. And I'm a little afraid that he's actually going to start putting on the pressure now that it's in May and the weather's cleared. So I was trying to get him out. That's right. And so when he attacked me with these 2 stacks. And I was detached off. And so I didn't have Johnston's force or that other stack, the stack here, because he was already pulled out. And I think my thought was he's going to jump down here and attack me here. So moving through and out of here, I'll get out of there before he attacks. And instead what he did was he went even further to my right and hit me before I had a chance to get out of there. I guess what's odd about this, though, is my guy should have used the rail line. So I don't know why he went here. That's almost maybe like a glitch, I think. Because he should have been going on the rail line. Because I made some adjustments after I recorded the last video. I kind of changed my strategy a little bit. So I don't know what happened there, but here was a battle. He lost more troops, but you know I didn't do too well either. It was not too long of a battle, only 2 rounds. So first, I inflict pretty good cohesion hits on him, as well as kills, and then wow, look at that. So, but it was a defeat, interestingly enough. Huh. So, yeah, that's kind of bizarre. So I'm trying to get him out of there, though, and I think I'll be able to. This guy's coming down, though. I'm a little worried he might cut me off. But I'm going to take the rail line. This is why this area here was so important, right? Because it's all connected. So take this rail line, get up another, and go from there. Now, again, as I was saying just a few minutes ago, I had the choice, you know, to just stack up as much as I could here and try and hold. The problem was because I lost all these divisions over here. If all these divisions were over in Atlanta, I think my analysis would be different. I'd say, let's just go. Let's just battle it out. You know, he can't win the game without both Atlanta and Richmond. And so let me just bloody him as much as I can, make him fight for every inch and do it that way. But because I lost Chattanooga, right, and then he pushed down here pretty quick, I had to kind of reassess things and figure, you know what, it's going to be really hard for him to punch down to Richmond in 6 months if I have most of my forces up there with the the best commanders that I have under the operation of Lee. So I figured out that's the dice I'm going to roll. It's the chance I'm going to have because I think Atlanta's going to fall regardless, right? So there were some other battles. Let's see here. There was one in Tennessee, which is whatever. And so Montgomery fell. He just took Montgomery, which again is very annoying for me because I have this stack up here. And what's he up to? Ooh. Oh, okay. So he pushed down to here, as you can see, and he's here, and then this is where the battle is at. I'm not sure what he's doing over here. I don't know if he's going to use this guy to come down and take my supply depot, maybe? I don't know. For some reason, he thinks I'm going to come up this way, and I'll maybe backdoor him. I don't know. That'd be kind of weird for me to try and do. So I have to watch this guy, see what he's up to. It's kind of an odd direction to go. I might have these guys down here, though, this next turn. So a lot of these guys trying to move maybe down here next turn because the weather's finally cleared up. I am using this pillaged card, which helps with cohesion for these troops, so it keeps them moving. So even though they're out of food, if they have some cohesion, they'll still keep moving, albeit a little bit slower. So using this pillage card, even though it cost me victory points, which we're not counting for this game, and loyalty, obviously, it gives me, as you can see, 20% cohesion back, so it ensures they keep moving. All right, so I'm making the moves up here. I got it here. I'm going to blow up this supply depot, right? There's a supply depot here? Nope. So I'm just tearing up the rail line. And then I'm also scorching the earth, so I'm basically getting supply from here. And then I'm going to push up to here, which I think there is a supply depot here. Yep. So I'm going to take that, tear that up. And then you got these other guys doing the same thing. So as you can see here, I'm already in his rear, tearing up these rail lines. Again, trying to make it so that if he decides that, oh, hey, like, I just pulled a bunch of these guys out of Atlanta, let's start sending these guys back to Virginia, it'll be harder for him to get to Virginia because I'll be tearing up these rail lines as I go. All right, so kind of pushing up here in the Mississippi, just taking these areas for trying to get what I can in terms of supply and money, and then also disrupt what logistics I can down the Mississippi. Although, as I mentioned previously, New Orleans is pretty stocked up on supply, so I doubt this is really harming his logistics. This is more just for me to try and get a little bit of money and supply here or there, and then perhaps get a boosted morale point, every once in a while, take in some of these places. That's the goal there. And then Price is down here, so he's just kind of making his way up. And then not much going on in Texas as far as I recall. Yeah, well, he moved across, so he's going to take that at some point, but that is whatever. Okay, so no scripted events. We went over all the battle. I got 11 money, 3 war supply from my blockade, so I'm still getting money. And we're in 65 for my blockade, which is pretty sweet. I mean, the blockade runners. To go over it, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then got another, so it's 7. And then this guy, I'm kind of using him. If he decides to try to transport troops up the river here, I'm going to use him to take those transports out. I'm also tempted to kind of come up here and try and maybe ambush transports coming down, bringing more troops. I've kind of debated doing that too. But that's what I got him there for. And then obviously what little money I have is going into my line infantry. We basically have no more money. We won't have any more money the rest of this game. So it is what it is, right? And then just sending these guys, I know I bounced around a little bit on you, I'm sorry. Down here in South Carolina, I'm just tearing up these rail lines again to keep so that he can't bring troops and land them with Butler and bring him up to cut me off, maybe, This is more just to make it harder for him to cut me off. All right, let's run the turn, and I'm sorry for the last turn that I didn't articulate the changes to my plan before I concluded that portion of the video. I forgot that I had changed things up a little bit, and it was a few days between that video and this one. And so that's why I was kind of like, what did I was still thinking I had done the old thing, which I didn't. So that's why I changed things up. The change in plan was get everybody out of Georgia. That was the plan. And that's why he got kind of ambushed over here a little bit. I thought I'd get him through before he had a chance to jump across, and I did not. So, all right, thanks. Gentleman and lady. Lady being my sister. All right, welcome back. Late May. We've got some more battles. We did pretty well in Virginia. Definitely some action and movement going on up here. It was a good thing that I'm moving those cores up to Virginia from Georgia, because it looks like I'm definitely going to need them. But our morale went way up to 111. Previously it was 102, but it went up 10 from battles because we had some pretty good victories here, so it's pretty exciting. If you look at his now, it's down to 95, so we're doing good. As you recall, like 2 months ago, in-game months, his morale was higher than mine, which is really bad. It's still not good that it's 95, right? That's really high for the Union, but we're doing a lot better. We're down. He's up to 334,000 casualties. I'm at the 290. Just 2 months ago, I think that was like 50,000 less on both sides. So that's a lot more casualties just in those 2 months. What happened was I think he tried to move out of this region with Jackson, I think. And there was a battle, and we won pretty handily. So I think that would be Waverly, right? Yeah, so that was Waverly. So let's go over that battle here. All right, so we have 50,000 troops, which is Jackson and Stewart. Now, we lost a lot, right? I mean, that was... I mean, that's what you get when you have Lee and Jackson, right? If Lee or Jackson are engaged in the battle, you're probably going to have some casualties. But you're also going to dish out a lot of casualties. So that's the downside. and the upside. Now, unfortunately for us, we have no money, so we can't replace this 20,000. He will replace these and like 20,000 more the next turn. So in that respect, it sucks for us pretty bad. For those of you who are watching, hopefully you learned something from like how I handled like say 63 and 64 on how to handle 65, so how to address the long game. If I could do something different, I probably would have made less units and spent even more on my reserve pool, so that my reserve pool wouldn't be such that it is in 65, right? Because you know you're going to lose money. You know you're going to lose territory. You know you're going to lose all of those strategic locations as a Confederacy. It's just a matter of time if you can't beat the Union by, say, 63. And so what you really need to do is save up as much as you can you're in your reserve pool, so that come late 64 or in 65, you're not like I am, which is hurting really bad for both money and peoples. Anyways, so it was a very long battle. It was 6 rounds, and as you can see, we lost almost half our force. So was it about 40% ish casualties, which is insane. But he lost even more troops, right? So he lost 39,000, and so he had more than 50% casualties. I had about 40% casualties. So on both sides, incredibly bloody. That's kind of like, an Antietam-esque type battle there, if you're talking like a one-day battle. His forces, let's see. So he didn't have really any good generals. So he's got a bunch of 311s here. Killed. He lost more guys in the assault, so I didn't lose anybody hardly at all in the 5th round, right? And then finally, the final round here. Woo! That's where the casualties were at right there. So he lost, looks like 11 at range and 10 assault in the last 3 rounds, and I lost like 1 per round going from like round 4 through, right? So rounds 4 through 5 and 6 is really where we I think dominated the victory there. Looks like his little division got wiped out though. Looks like. So that sucks. He lost this guy, so he lost 2 divisions. 3 divisions. So he lost 3 divisions in that battle. So yeah, so we did really well. So there you go. There's your total numbers. There's your cohesion. He took a lot of my cohesion too, obviously. But then the kills are significantly higher on our end. What's this lightning bolt? I don't know. The commanding officer demonstrated tactical excellence. Oh, well, interesting. Until he got wiped out. Yeah, good for him. Okay, so that was there. So now I'm going to go on the offensive because he doesn't have much guys. So I'm going to attack him. Screw it. I took out most of it, I took out a lot of his guys. Now, granted, I took a lot of hits too, but I always say, what would Jackson do, right? WWJD. What would Jackson do? Well, Jackson would attack because Jackson would attack anybody, regardless if he had one troop or, 1,000. So that's down there in my rear. So I'm feeling pretty good about down here for right now. Looks like we staved off any sort of advance from, up the James. So now I have to worry about the other side, though. Now he's starting to make inroads over here. So I don't know if he attacked here. Let me see. Was that an attack? Did he attack? I think he did. What's Bedford? That's Florence. I feel like there's a battle at Florence. There was not. Where's Nelson? Alright, well anyways. We'll sort that out in a second. Okay, so he attacked here. And so I'll go over that in a moment. And so we have... So actually, he attacked here. That's right. So he moved down. Claiborne was here. And he retreated down to here. So now I'm going to move him here. I thought I had planned that better. When I pulled Jackson out of here, which him seeing Jackson down here, right, told him, okay, there is no supporting corps, right? So that's why he attacked, which was smart. He was smart of him to do that. I thought I had left behind an artillery piece and an infantry guy to maintain the dig-in that Jackson had established here. I did not. So that was a screw up on my part. It's the small things, right, that make a huge difference, because instead of having, a level, what is this, a level 7, whatever that is, right, fortification, I have nothing. And now I have a core going back into a non-dugout fortification, which makes a pretty substantial difference when you're defending. So, nevertheless, I'm going to attack this guy because he's not connected to this core up here, so he's by himself. So it's kind of a quick way to give me a cheap shot on Custer because he's not connected to anybody. And then I'm going to try and get back here. He may attack here. That's quite possible. And if he does, I don't know. It could be bad. He's got 13,600 up here. Now, the only reason he may not, and I was tempted to take him and just move up here to this depot and burn it. Because, yeah, he's got these depots, but, or this rail line, but I'm going to try and take this area. And then if I moved up here, he will be cut off from his depot line. I suspect, though, what he'll do is he's going to move a corps back. He moved everybody into attack. I suspect he'll move one guy back. If he does that, then I would end up engaging with this entire stack, which is something I don't want to do. So I'm going to hold off doing that. I don't like playing defensive, but I suspect I have to for the rest of this game because I just don't have the troops. And at this point, I just need to survive 6 months, which is a lot of turns. That's a long time. But I feel like we could do it. We could do it. We just got to make it hard for him. So let's go over that battle real quick here. It's Bedford, right? Okay, so the next one. All right. So he had 127,640 troops, which, mind you, that did not include the 3,000 power up here, right? But that's basically his force. So tack on what, another 40,000 up here, and that's probably that's his army of the Potomac, so to speak, that he has up here, I'm guessing. Which actually, you think about, it's not bad for us. He's got a lot of troops down in Georgia, so that force could easily be double that size, and then we'd be in a real world of hurt. But we did fantastic. We killed 12,394 of his troops, and then obviously the horse and the artillery. He's got a lot of artillery, 600 artillery versus our 182, right? So we don't have very much artillery. And we only lost 6,000, so that is fantastic. I mean, that is a fantastic ratio to have. Those are the sort of ratios you want to have as a confederacy, is the 2-to-1 ratios. Now, again, now this one he actually had better generals, right? So he's got Thomas So the 6 defense, but more importantly for him, the 3 attack. 3 attack under Buford. 3 attack with Doubleday. Then he's got Sedgwick with 2. So a lot. I mean, he stacked this. This is his like tip of the spear stack, right? He put as many of his good generals in here as he could. Looks like, yeah, he's got Reynolds in here. Slocum. Who else? He's got to have more in here. Wow, I'm surprised I was expecting to see Hooker in here, but so yeah. So anyways, a lot of solid division commanders. But so at the start of the battle, round 1, it looks like we just had Claiborne here. He was the only one facing off with his massive force, and we still did pretty good, sizable damage just with that 1 corps. It looks like we received the high protection bonus, right? See, so there you go. That's a big difference, right? He's moving into a region now that does not have this. Still is that? Yeah. What the heck? Wow, so that's crazy. So that 1 corps did all of that, apparently. That is nuts. Because we had engaged here 118 at the start. He had 270. That's probably why we retreated, right? Because we were just completely outnumbered. But our other corps did not move to the sound of guns. They did not show up. Yeah, so we were outnumbered 2-1, more than 2-1 every round. And I don't understand why the other corps did not show up. Huh. So he didn't show up. That's annoying. And because of his landing down here, we didn't have Jackson there to help, right? So that's a big difference. That's kind of how that's how you do it as the Union, right? If the Confederacy is in a situation, in a spot that you don't like, you need to get either through it or around it. You preferably want to go around it. And so what he did was he forced me to move my forces so that they're not as strong, and then he attacked. So it's a smart move on his part. Alright, so I'm attacking this guy up here because he didn't hit me here, so I'm going to hit him. I hope he doesn't have a big enough force, but I got, 528, so that's a pretty good stack size there. Alright, more to follow here. I've got another corps coming up, right? So he's going to show up here to support. He's one of the ones from Atlanta. Alright. Hilariously enough, Charleston's still mine. So it's still ours. Here we go. That's like $20 a turn. Cha-ching. That is funding our entire army right now. That 20 bucks. That's ridiculous. But okay, so now over here, a couple of things of note that are troubling for us. One, he's cut off the rail line, so now we have to jump across this non-rail line area onto a rail line, and then he has this guy right here blocking me. So I'm gonna try and sweep him out of the way with McCulloch. And the main reason again is I need to be able to jump across now to go across this rail line to get up to Virginia, since he's cut us off here, so we can't go there. So that's not good for us. And then on top of that, Stewart, I can't get him out. I moved him from here. I tried to move him there, and he blocked me, as you can see here. So then I moved down here, or he got moved down here, and here's Sherman, and so now I'm gonna try and get across this river and get around. I have him on green, no combat, and so yeah, I don't. That's 3 more divisions, right? That I could really use in the front right now. So we'll see. Trying to think if I could have done anything different a few turns ago. I felt like I tried to get him out, in time. He just, he kind of, instead of going for Atlanta, it looked like he was more interested in trying to cut me off, which perhaps initially was smart, but I got everybody out that I wanted to get out with the exception of 3 divisions. So he's wasting valuable time trying to get these 3 divisions instead of getting Atlanta and then sending all of this. I mean, like look at this. You got a 1,500 force, 16, 17, 16, 3,200, and 1,000 1800, right? Like all of this is being held up because he doesn't have Atlanta, and he's trying to get this guy, and then he's also got, you know, what's his face? Buford, right? Not Buford, sorry. Buell with a force down here. So there's a lot of resources being tied up right now in Georgia. And so, I mean, it's good for us, right? So, sort of. So I guess if I have to sacrifice 3 divisions to ensure that all of this doesn't go back up to Virginia sooner rather than later, then I guess I'll take it. But yeah, so a little frustrating I can't get him out. I think there was a battle here. Yeah. So I lost another 4,000 troops, right? He lost 28 though, and he was on red, and I only had the 19,000, and he had 120,000. So I guess we lucked out in that respect, that he wasn't able to tie me down and inflict even more casualties. But obviously that was a defeat, because we just have the 3 divisions, low cohesion, and then you know, he's got this massive stack of troops. Alright, so that was the last battle to cover at the moment. That was down here, by the way, so that was probably all 4 of these stacks right here. That was that battle. The 120,000 troops is all this right here. I don't know how Keyes was. Why was he running it though? He's like the way the hell up here. I wonder if like he was here and then he was moving back and the battle happened before he moved back there. I don't know. That's weird. Okay, so another good news. We were finally, what, like 6 months later, able to get those guys out of this freaking shithole up here. Sorry, hellhole. Apologies for my language. And so I reorganized everything. I combined them, and this place here is being blockaded and being shot at, and I've already burned through all the supplies, so I don't really need it anymore. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move down here, retake this, come down here, retake this, and then probably use the riverway to move. I'd like to see if I can get down here to Mobile in 1 turn, because if I can do that in 1 turn, he's out of position. So if I can get down here in 1 turn and take it, there's a lot of supply here. It's a size 3 depot, right? I am hurting for supply over here. As you can see, there is nothing supplying this army right now at all. I'm not going to take Montgomery because he's got a big stack there, and I can't take him out there. But I might be able to get Mobile. So that's what I'm looking at doing. Let's see what I can do there. If I can take Mobile, then this army is back in action. Maybe I can go down and take New Orleans back. That'll be money that I could use to replenish my forces in Virginia. But so we're not dead yet. We're still in that. Like this guy here. I mean, I know that the numbers look low, but that's only because your cohesion's low. Their army troop numbers are actually pretty healthy right here. They're actually pretty stacked division-wise still. So we'll see. Okay. All right. Price is just dominating. It's going around, taking over everything. I'm going to take this little plantation back, hopefully. And then maybe make a move on Memphis, perhaps. So I took this here. I'm going to take that little plantation. I'm up here tearing up his rail lines, taking his supply depots. I'm also plundering, so as you can see here, I'm going to get $35,000. So always be sure to use these cards. So again, 35,000 bucks for us is huge, right? Because I think I'm getting like 20 bucks a turn right now. Maybe more like 60, but inflation is 30%. So you can't do much with like 60 or 80 bucks, right? So these cards give you 35,000, but you need to be obviously in Union-held areas. So that's $70 I'll get this turn just from having these guys up behind the Union lines, just kind of tearing up rail lines and just being an altogether nuisance and annoyance. Okay, Texas. He moved out of there. It's kind of weird. There was no battle here. Remember, he was here and then he wasn't. I don't know where he's going. Huh. Okay. I think that's everything we need to cover. Sorry, I'm just kind of going through here, making sure we got everything. I think we do. Yeah. Okay. All right. 2. That's about all we can afford every turn right now. Let's go look here. Okay. 334, 290, and then 111 morale. You know, if this was a game for victory points, I think, you know, he'd obviously win because I have 76, he has 83. We weren't playing for those. The next game, we do plan on playing for victory points. So that'll be another way that Confederacy can win, is that they have more victory points at the end of the game. All right, let's run the turn and keep on going.